Oh wait, I know why you filmed this on a roof. You filmed this on a roof because like you're like, oh, you're like, oh, you're trying to avoid responsibility for like all the shit you're doing by being like, oh, I never, when I feel really bad and I talk about how bad I really feel, it's not real. And a couple days later I'm talking about something else. This is again points to your total lack of understanding about mental health, your own personal lack of understanding about mental health. I mean, people carry their lives, but you don't get that because you've had such an easy life. You had such an easy life that you don't understand anything other than like how, like, being in a good mood or being in a bad mood, or things going the way that you want them to or not going the way that you want them to. Like your entire concept of reality is getting smaller and smaller, ironically, and in inverse proportion to your stardom and like the constant all the bullshit that goes along with that. Like you don't understand any of that at all. You don't really understand the issues that you're dealing with at all. You don't. I mean, the idea that people just carry their lives, they carry their burdens, they have burdens that they have to carry. They carry them, on the days when they feel like they can't carry them anymore. They carry them on the days when they feel like they can kind of sort of handle it. They they have to think through. It's not just a question like what your life and the way that your life works is not just a question of like people are nice to you. It's also a question of you don't have to sit there and try to figure anything out. You don't have it's like other people who have problems, real actual problems, have to sit there and try to figure them out. Figure out, what am I going to do about this? What am I going to do about that? How am I going to carry all of the burdens of my life today? Am I going to carry them by joking about them, and I'm going to carry them by complaining about them, and am I going to carry them by talking about them? Am I going to just like lie here, if it is at all possible for me to just lie here and be burdened, or try to take my mind off of them, or try to find other people who are going through the same thing, or try to find out what other people have to say, or do something else with my time, or just try to live my life anyway? What's the coping strategy that I'm going to use to carry all the burdens of my life today? Like, you don't understand any of that. That's the thing. You have this whole setup where like, oh, I'm doing so much for mental health and I'm giving so much money to all these organizations, and you're letting all of those organizations do the thinking. And I can't even know it. Haven't really paid that much attention. Maybe I'm just have a feeling maybe it's another one of those things where I don't really want to know, where they're not really that informed either, where they're saying all sorts of shit that's really harmful instead of helpful, right? But in terms of a personal experience with mental health, or being around a lot of other people who are basically in some kind of emotional or mental health crisis all the time, which homelessness certainly is, you have absolutely no understanding of any of that whatsoever. And so your entire concept of what it feels like to have times of being like, I just don't want to go through any more of this. I do not want to. Life is just fucking horrible, and I don't want to live with it anymore. You have no idea what that really feels like, because your life has been fucking fantastic. Your life has been fucking fantastic. So you just have no idea. You don't get it. Right? You don't get it. And it really is ridiculous. All of these people who have not only every single need met, who are young and have not only had every single need met, may have been through a couple of things here and there, but have that is so different from people who have to go through all of those same things and worse, for such a long time, who don't have their needs met, who don't have any money, who just continuously have shit piled on top of them, right? And the thing about being vulnerable in one way, especially if you don't have any money, is that life will find a way in. That's kind of how it works if you think about the natural world. Like it's the organisms that have some kind of injury, especially some sort of long-term injury, are the ones that are more vulnerable to having more bad things happen to them. Like, you don't think of yourself as a predator. You don't think of yourself that way. And you don't even really have this shit has been going on for so long, right? And is so bad and has been accepted as normal by so many people that you really don't think of yourself as being a bad person. And it takes something like me saying, okay, I was on the top of a roof and I happened to end up somewhere that they have all these, pictures where they're like, oh, I'm like, what the fuck, on like every floor here, I'm just going to look for a job, and yet somehow on every floor of this parking garage they have a sign saying you don't have to kill yourself. I'm like, why do they have a sign? And then I was like looking for the actual train station, somehow I ended up on the roof, and I was like, oh, that's why they have these signs, warning people you don't have to kill yourself, because apparently they can't just have a guard there all the time. Why they don't just lock that door, I don't know. They just have signs reminding people they don't have to do it, and they just kind of let them make their own decision. And I was like, oh, okay, now I know. But I could jump out of my own windows. It's like I don't know if I really thought about that very much before, but I did that, and I was like, I could just jump out of my own windows. I'm sure it's 4 feet. It's 4 stories. I think I'm on the 4th floor. There's no reason that I couldn't. I could just get it over with like that. But you're so inured to the entire thing. You're so used to it. I'm so dehumanized. You're so full of yourselves and so sure that you're not doing anything wrong. And you're getting that message from so many people whose job it is, who are failing, who are supposed to be moral authorities and who are failing. You're getting the message that it's normal and there's nothing wrong with it. You are so used to it that is what it actually takes. And as soon as you feel like you can act like it doesn't matter, that's what you do to brush it all off and be like, no, it's you, it's your fault, it's your problem. We're not doing anything wrong. I'm sorry. Did you ever actually at any time question, like, be like, oh no, maybe I'm not too young. Maybe I'm not too young and too stupid for her. Oh.